My name is Connor, and I spend a lot of time thinking about money, how people earn it, how they lose it, and why so many smart people still make terrible financial decisions. Everywhere you look, someone is claiming they've found the secret to getting rich. Crypto, AI, dropshipping, hustles, side gigs, but most of that content skips something important. Not everyone gets rich the same way. And most people don't get rich fast. They get rich intentionally. So in this video, I'm going to break down every realistic way people can get rich in 2026. The boring ways, the uncomfortable ways, and yes, even a few exciting ones. No hype, no clickbait, just the truth from intense research. Before we talk about methods, strategies, or money rules, we have to pause and define one word most people never stop to question. Rich. Because if you define rich the wrong way, you can work your entire life and still lose. Being rich is not a big car payment that looks impressive in traffic. It's not designer clothes bought to impress people who don't know you. And it's definitely not looking successful on Instagram while quietly drowning behind the scenes. Those things are not wealth. They are signals. And signals are expensive to maintain. Real wealth looks much quieter. Being rich means owning your time, not begging a calendar for permission to rest. It means having margin in your finances, so every unexpected bill doesn't feel like an emergency. It means missing one paycheck doesn't instantly push you into fear, debt, or desperation. True wealth gives you breathing room. It gives you options. It gives you peace. And here's the part most people never realize. They're not actually chasing wealth. They're chasing status. Status is loud. Wealth is calm. Status wants to be seen. Wealth wants to be secure. And when you confuse the two, you end up spending everything you earn trying to look rich while staying broke. That mistake doesn't just slow people down, it keeps them trapped. One of the most reliable ways people are getting rich in 2026 hasn't changed as much as people think. It's still this. They earn more than average by developing rare, valuable skills. Not degrees, not job titles, not what looks impressive on LinkedIn. Skills. Because income doesn't respond to effort. It responds to value. When you develop a skill that solves expensive problems, the market pays you accordingly. That's why the people quietly winning right now are learning things like data and business analysis, turning messy information into clear decisions. Cybersecurity and privacy, protecting systems that companies can't afford to lose. IT systems and cloud support, keeping modern businesses running behind the scenes. Sales, especially B2B, where one deal can be worth more than a year's salary. Technical project management, translating chaos into execution. And AI operations, not coding, but knowing how to use AI to save time, cut costs, and multiply output. These skills all have something in common. They scale with experience. The longer you do them, the more valuable you become. They transfer across industries. You're not trapped in one company or one sector. And they pay more as responsibility increases, because fewer people can do them well under pressure. This is why the fastest wealth builders don't start with budgeting apps or extreme frugality. They start by increasing income, because it's very hard to save your way out of low earnings. But once income goes up, controlling lifestyle becomes much easier. First, you expand what you earn. Then, you decide what you keep. That order matters more than most people realize. Almost every wealthy person eventually owns something. Not always a flashy startup, not a company that makes headlines. Most of the time, it's much quieter than that. It might be a boring service business that most people overlook. A consulting practice built on experience, not hype. An agency that solves one specific problem for one specific group. Or a small operation that simply works day after day because it delivers real value. In 2026, this is how many people are actually getting rich. Not by chasing exciting ideas, but by solving boring problems that businesses can't ignore. Not by serving everyone, but by serving a very specific niche extremely well. And not by trading hours for money, but by pricing for value, what the outcome is worth, not how long it takes. That's the power of ownership. When you own the system, your income isn't capped by a paycheck. Your effort can compound. Your reputation can compound, and your results can compound. Now, business is risky. There's no denying that. But it's also one of the most powerful wealth engines available, once your income is stable. Most people don't fail in business because business doesn't work. They fail because they start too early. with no cushion, no margin, and no room to survive mistakes. Ownership rewards patience, and it rewards preparation. The people who win aren't reckless, they're ready. Investing still builds wealth, but not the way social media sells it. Real investing in 2026 doesn't look exciting. It doesn't come with countdown timers, flashy screenshots, or promises of overnight freedom. Most of the time, it looks almost boring. It's long-term stock investing, buying quality assets and letting time do the heavy lifting. It's index funds, slow, diversified, and consistent. It's retirement accounts, structured, tax-efficient, and patient. And sometimes it's real estate, only when the numbers actually make sense, not when the hype does. What it's not day trading, it's not gambling dressed up as strategy, and it's not chasing the next thing just because everyone else is talking about it. Because real investing isn't about excitement, it's about endurance. Investing works best when income is steady, so you're not forced to sell at the worst time. When emotions are controlled, so fear and greed don't make decisions for you. And when time is on your side, because compounding rewards patience, not urgency. Here's the uncomfortable truth most people never hear. Most people don't lose money because investing doesn't work. They lose money because they react. They panic when markets fall, they chase when markets rise. They buy late, sell early, and repeat the cycle. The market transfers money from the impatient to the disciplined. And the people who win long-term aren't smarter. Yes, people are still getting rich from content in 2026. But here's the part most people misunderstand. Very few creators get rich from views alone. Views look impressive. They spike, they disappear. What actually creates wealth is what sits behind the views. Trust. Because when people trust you, they listen longer, come back, and act on what you say. Attention. Not viral attention for 1 week, but steady attention over months and years. Consistency. Showing up when it's quiet, posting when no one is clapping. Staying long enough for compounding to start. That's why YouTube works. That's why affiliate marketing works. That's why podcasts and even faceless channels work. Not because they're fast, but because they reward the people who stay. Content rewards clear thinking, saying something worth hearing. It rewards patience, letting trust build naturally. And it rewards compounding effort, where each piece makes the next one stronger. And here's the biggest advantage most people overlook. You don't need permission to start. No gatekeeper, no approval process, no one deciding if you're ready. You press publish, and the work begins. And over time, that work can turn into something far bigger than views. Some people don't quit their jobs to get rich. They leverage them. They understand that a job is not just a paycheck, it's a platform. They negotiate better pay, not once, but repeatedly as their value increases. They move into higher value roles where decisions matter more and skills compound faster. They switch companies strategically, not out of frustration, but for growth. And they build reputations inside their industries so opportunities start finding them. Used correctly, a job can fund skills, stability, and optionality. A job doesn't make you poor, a low-ceiling mindset does. The belief that your income is fixed, that your role defines your future, that staying employed means staying small. Many millionaires didn't start as founders. They started as employees who understood leverage. They used salaries to invest, titles to open doors, experience to raise their ceiling. They didn't burn bridges, they built runways. And when the moment came to move, they were ready. Let's be honest about what doesn't reliably make people rich. Chasing trends, jumping from one hot thing to the next, always late and rarely early. Lifestyle inflation, earning more but upgrading everything so nothing actually changes. Debt-fueled success, using borrowed money to look ahead while quietly falling behind. Get-rich-quick thinking, expecting shortcuts where discipline is required. And copying someone else's path, without their timing, their skills, or their risk tolerance. None of these build wealth, they build pressure. Because if something promises speed with no sacrifice, it's usually not offering freedom, it's selling a fantasy. Real wealth doesn't need constant excitement. It doesn't announce itself. And it doesn't require you to prove anything to anyone. Most of the time, wealth is built quietly, through consistency when no one is watching, through restraint when spending would feel easier, through patience when progress feels slow. It grows in the background, unnoticed, uncelebrated, until one day it shows up as options, peace, and control. And that's the part people miss. Wealth isn't loud, but it lasts. When you study people who actually got rich, you notice something. They didn't have one magic move. They increased income, controlled spending, stayed consistent, avoided obvious traps, gave themselves time. Wealth is less about brilliance and more about not self-sabotaging. We've come to the end of the video. I hope this video gives you a different insight about every real way people can get rich in 2026. Not a quick get-rich scheme, not emotionally, but clearly. Give this video a thumbs up and subscribe so you don't miss my next video.